Proverbs 23 says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." What are you thinking about yourself? And how are your thoughts impacting where you are in your life right now? Come with me and let's explore this. Hi guys, and welcome back. So we're going to start in Genesis right at the beginning. In the first chapter of Genesis, verses 26 and 27, it says that we were created in the image of God, after his likeness. And so I was taught my whole life that means we were created to be like God. But just recently, I was studying imagination and how it directly relates to manifestation. And I was having a conversation with my husband one evening just before bedtime, and the next morning he was in the bathroom and he came out and he said to me, "I think I got a revelation of something." And so of course I got excited and I sat up in the bed and I was all ears, and he says, "God told me to go to Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. He says that if the scripture says we were created in his image and in his likeness, if both of those things mean the same thing, why would he put both of those things there?" So that set me on a mission. I started studying the word image, and when I looked it up, it was translated from the Hebrew word Salem. Hopefully I pronounced it right. But the word actually means image. But as I kept reading, I found that it's a picture. Another translation says an illusion, or a figure, or a representation of the original. And so as I read and as I studied, God revealed to me that what the scripture is actually saying is we were created in God's imagination first. So he saw us here before we were ever actually in the scene arena. So tell me, if we were created in the image of God, in his imagination, and then we were actually seen, and we were created in the likeness of God, that means that we are like God. Then we have the same creative power. So that means we can imagine here, we can see something here and expect to see it manifested. So personally, I've done this my whole life. I can remember being a small child. I would sit and I would imagine things, and then I would see those things come into fruition. Some things I imagined all the way back when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and today I see the manifestation of those things. For example, I can remember watching The Cosby Show, where he would be outside, out back, and Claire and her friends would be watching them out the window, and he would be playing cricket with his West Indian friends. And I can remember as a small child thinking, wow, I would love to be married to a Jamaican. And here I am today. Not that I've even thought about it since I was 10 years old, up until the moment where I met my husband. I never even thought about it again. But one day, I was at home, and God showed it to me. He says, "Tarka, look." And there I saw the thing that I imagined all those many years ago had come into full manifestation. Your imagination will cause things to gravitate towards you. That is the creative power that we have. God knitted this thing into the very fabric of who we are. Sadly, a lot of us, we're doing it every day, but we're doing it for negative things. We sit and we worry about all the possible bad things that could happen in our lives, and then we see those things come into fruition, and then we say, "Oh, I knew that was going to happen," not realizing that you've actually caused those things to gravitate towards you. Because the scripture says that from the abundance of a man's heart, his mouth speaks. So the images that you have painted on your imagination are evident in what you say out of your mouth. And those are the things that will gravitate towards you. What are you saying about yourself? What are you pondering about? Change those things so that they look like what you want to see. Pick up the paintbrush and start drawing on the canvas of your imagination all the things that God has shown about you. Okay, now let's see it in the scripture. So when I start to think about imagination, right away I go to Abraham. God had given Abraham a vision. He had given him a vision. He said, Abraham, come, let's go outside. He had taken Abraham, who was Abram at the time. He had taken him outside and he says, look up at the stars. If you can count them, so shall your seed be. He said, all these stars that you see, that's going to be your descendants. He went even so far as to change Abram's name to Abraham, which means father of many nations. Every time Abraham told someone his name, and every time someone called Abraham's name, he saw that picture. The picture that he had painted on the canvas of his imagination. Now, God gave Abraham the vision, but Abraham had to paint it on his own imagination. He had to see himself in that vision. So sure, we see all over the scripture where God has given us a vision. He says that we're lenders, we're not borrowers. He says that we're healed, we're not sick. So he's shown us the vision that we're healed, but if we can't see ourselves healed, then we will never see the manifestation of it. That's the power that God has given us, each and every one of us. We see it also in Joseph's life. God gave Joseph a vision in a dream. He saw his brothers bowing down before him. He shared it with his brothers, and they ended up throwing him into a ditch and selling him into slavery. And through everything, after being sold into slavery, and then later on imprisoned, he always saw that image on his imagination. He always saw what God has shown him in that vision. Again, if Joseph had not seen himself in that vision, then he would have never seen the manifestation of it. If you can't see it, then you will never see it. Habakkuk 2 says to write the vision and make it plain. But as you write the vision and you make it plain, make sure you can see yourself in the vision. Paint the picture of yourself on the canvas of your imagination, and you will see the manifestation. Thank you guys for joining me.